Hello, friends. Hope you're all doing good. So, we are back with the practice exams for driving theory in Belgium. So, like in all the other meetings, I will use this website to practice the exam, proof exam. So, you can go to this website. I will put the link to this website in the description. So here you have different options to practice questions on different topics. You will need a translator installed in your browser if in case you don't understand Dutch language. Now, what we will do today, like all the other videos before, so I'll go to Proof Examine and category B driving license. So I'll click here. Then I get an option to start the exam. So I can choose the area, Flanders, Wallonia, or Brussels. The questions are almost kind of similar, but I will just use Flanders, and I will start the test without any time limit, right? So that we can discuss the questions. At the end of 50 questions, we will see if we have passed or failed. And then if we have answered any wrong question, then we will review those questions and why the mistakes were with a clear explanation. So what I will do also is I will use this book to explain the topics. If somewhere things are not clear, then I will use this book. You can buy this book on amazon.nl. It's presently at a discounted price, 24.37, when the actual price is 32.70. So it's almost €8 less if you buy it now. So I'll put the link to this book as well in the description, and I will also keep posting such videos. So if you want to watch these videos, just go to YouTube and type my name and then hit the subscribe button so you can watch more videos like this. So now let's get started. So we will start the exam without any time limit. Start the test zonder tijd. So here's our first question. There are 50 questions, and then I will translate the question, I will translate the option, and then we will select one of the right options. And then we will see at the end if we have got all the correct answers or how many we have not got correct. Okay, so the first question, let me start translating it. Does this person commit an offense because he has a mobile phone in hand? So the options are three options. Option A is yes, always. Option B is not if the vehicle is waiting or stopping in a traffic jam. Option C is not if the car is parked somewhere. So the correct answer is not if the car is parked somewhere. So if you want to make use of your mobile phone or adjust your maps, you have to park your car in a place where it is allowed, and then you can do that. It's also like parking your car in your garage, in your private place. Then you can certainly check your mobile phone, or you can also adjust your maps. The next question, question number 2. If you ride preventively, then you have three options. What does that mean? It means option A, you will always ride slow. Option B, you will always ride fast to clear the road as soon as possible. And option C, you will adapt your speed to the road conditions so as to understand the risks on the road better. So there are three options. So the correct answer is you should adapt your speed. Preventive riding is always adapting your speed to the road conditions and then always keeping an eye for the risks on the road. So riding slow is not advisable. Even riding fast is not advisable. But then you have to adapt your speed depending on the road conditions. Question number 3. How much distance should you maintain at a parking at a zebra crossing, before how much distance should you maintain before zebra crossing? So this car is actually before zebra crossing. So here it is 5 meters. You should maintain a distance of 5 meters here, but then after zebra crossing, you can certainly park your car just after zebra crossing, but before you have to maintain 5 meter distance. The reason for that is a person who wants to who's crossing, who is using the zebra crossing to cross the road should be clearly visible to the oncoming traffic here. So if it's parked very close, then maybe the other car might not be able to see the person crossing. So that's why it has to be 5 meters. Now the question is the gray car allowed to ride further? So this policeman or this authorized person has spread his arms horizontally, which means that any traffic, so which means that the white car is not allowed to continue driving. It has to stop, and the car coming from the front also must stop. So from the front and the rear must stop. The other traffic which is coming from the sideways, they are allowed to proceed. So in this case, the gray car is allowed to proceed. So this is a 5-mark question. So you have to pay attention to this. Any question related to authorized person, speed, or offenses are third grade and fourth grade offenses are 5-mark questions. In the sense, if you answer these questions wrong, then you lose 5 marks. So let's continue. Now we are on the 5th question. From this traffic board option, there are 3 options. Option A, it is prohibited a carriage or a vehicle with more than 2 wheels to overtake. So it is prohibited to overtake a carriage or a vehicle with more than 2 wheels. Option B is it is not advisable to overtake a carriage or a vehicle with more than 2 wheels. Option C is it is allowed to overtake a carriage or a vehicle with more than 2 wheels. So clearly uh, this is end of restriction. As you can see, this is a board, and this line here crosses the board, which means end of restrictions. So if you see any traffic sign with this black line across, then it means it's end of restriction. So till here there was a restriction of overtaking, but from here onwards the restriction ends. So it is allowed to overtake a carriage or a vehicle with 2 or more wheels. Okay, so let's continue. The question is, should you give priority to the vehicle that wants to turn left? So clearly this car wants to turn left, and the question is, should you give priority to this car? The answer is no, because the car is supposed to wait as instructed by the authorized person. So you don't have to wait for this car, you can continue driving. So this authorized person is putting no restrictions on you, but only on the traffic coming from this direction. So you don't have to give priority to this car. So the next question is, at this board, you have 3 options. You must always stop. Uh, the option B is all trucks must stop. Option C is you must stop if you are authorized, if you are requested to do so by an authorized person. So this will be the correct answer. You must stop if you there is no need for you to always stop, and even the trucks, there is no need for them to always stop. It is only if the authorized person or the customs officer in this case, if that person orders you to stop, then you must stop. The next question is, you and the other car, you want You both want to turn left. How do you cross each other in this situation? Before each other, after each other. So in this case, it will be before each other. You see the road sign here and the other road sign for the other car that is coming from the opposite direction. The thing is, when there is a road sign, you just follow the road sign. So you just go till here and take left. The other car comes till here and takes left. So that is, you are crossing before each other. If the road sign was not there, you should have actually crossed behind each other. Let me explain you this from this book. I have a PDF copy of this book, but when you order, you get a real book. Okay, now here I have explained. Here, additionally, there are two ways to make a left turn, right? Turn without crossing. So this is the exact situation that is now being shown in the question. That the arrow marks are also marked this way. So you cross before each other, before each other. You don't cross behind each other. So the case where you cross behind each other is this. First, you just drive straight and you cross behind each other. Now, the situation, if there are road markings, you just follow those. In this case, there is a road marking. In this case also there is a road marking, so you just follow those. If in case there is no road marking, like in this case, even in that case, you have to cross behind each other, right? You first drive till the end here and then cross left. He will drive till the end here and then cross left, right? So this is how the crossing should be done. So in this case, it's clearly before each other. So let's confirm that. So the question is, if you park here on the left on Sunday and you arrive at 9:39, 9 hours, 39 minutes, then there are three options. Option A is you will place the parking card at up 9, which shows 9 hours, 30 minutes on the parking card. Option B is you will place the parking card showing 10 o'clock. Option C is you will not place the parking card. So in this case, this is a zone where you must place the parking card. So I think this is at 10 o'clock that you must place the parking card, but we will see if it is wrong in the end. We will find out and then we will correct those. So let's continue. So the question is, are you allowed to overtake this bicycle here? There are three options. Option A is yes. Option B is yes, if I can maintain a lateral distance of 1 meter. Option C is no. So it is clearly no, because as you can see, this is a place where there is limited visibility because of a turn here. So there might be a car or a vehicle coming from the opposite direction. It's a danger situation, so you must not overtake a bicycle here. So the correct answer will be no. The question is, you are turning right. Should you give priority to the bicycles? So the answer will be yes, because whenever you're turning right or turning left or making a U-turn or coming out of garage, all these things are maneuvers. And when you are doing a maneuver, you must always give priority. So here you're turning right, which means you're doing a maneuver, and then you should give priority to the bicycles who are crossing or the pedestrians who are crossing the road. You see a small man here within this traffic sign. It doesn't mean anything. Probably it doesn't mean anything different. This is the traffic sign which you must follow if in case the traffic lights are not working. That's the hierarchy of priority. So let's confirm that you must give priority to the bicycles. Okay, this is an accident situation. The person is unconscious. What is what is priority? What is very important to do now? There are three options. First option is try to know what his name is. Option B is wake him up. Option C is check if his windpipe is free. The correct answer will be check if his windpipe is free, because that is life saving. So always make sure that the situation is secure. Don't try to move him. Don't try to give any food or drink. Just check if the environment is safe, and then check if his air pipe, his breathing pipe is free. Okay, so here a video is being played, and the question is, I'll already read the question. You are committing an offense here by overtaking from right. So let's watch the video and see what the situation is. This is really not overtaking. It's a situation where there is traffic jam and people and the traffic is moving in different lanes. So I would say it's not an offense, and it's not an overtaking here that is being done. So it's false. So this is not overtaking, and so it's not an offense. Let's confirm our answer. So the question is, which vehicle will be the last, should come last at the cross point? Who must go last at the cross point? So clearly the bicycle is riding on the bicycle lane. The car must give priority to the bicycle. So the car is the last one. The other thing, the other reason is if you pay close attention, the car is driving, and here the road for the car is ending, right? And then the car enters on the bicycle lane, which means the car is entering a place that is meant for someone else. So the car must give priority to the traffic, to the bicycle. This place is for the bicycle. The car is entering the bicycle's place, so it cannot enter just like that. It must let the bicycle pass, only then it's allowed to enter this area. So the car will be the last who will enter the cross point. So the question is, which lights are now switched on? If you look at the dashboard, you can see that you can see the dashboard, the lights here. So this is an indication of dim lights. So the dim lights, high beam lights, or mist lights. So we don't see any mist lights. We don't see any high. This will be either dim light, or this will be either high beam light. So now it's showing dim light. So it has to be one of these two. Now it's a dim light. So we select this option. Okay, question 16. What is the part of the road what is the part indicated by the arrow? So the question is, what is that part which is indicated by the arrow? There are four options, sorry. A is the public road, B is the roadway, or just the road, or carriageway. C is the lane. D is a place on a road. Array Vak is a place on a road where you can stop. It's kind of a box. So that's what it is. So which one is this? So clearly this is a Rayban, which means a road or a carriageway. Let me show you this in the book. So in the book, it's clearly explained the road. So one is the public road, which extends from the edge of one private property to another private property. Then what the question is about this, number 3. So it's a roadway. It's also called as road or a carriageway. And lane is a small part of it, right? So the correct answer here is a road or a carriageway. The public road is everything from one private property to another private property. It includes the road, the footpath, the bicycle lane, everything. And the raised stroke is just this lane. So in this photo, this red line indicates two raised strokes, which means two lanes. And we don't see any uh, Rewak. Rewak is the place where cars can stop next to the road. Now, this question 17, who has priority? Simple, the bicycle or the car? Simple answer is the car. There are no traffic signs, no traffic lights, nothing. So when there are no traffic signs, you must follow the traffic rules, which says priority from right or the right of way. So the car is on the right side for the bicycle, so the bicycle must give priority to the car. So the car has priority here. Question 18, which of these three are correct? Option A is all vehicles bigger than 5 meters are prohibited. Option B is all vehicles which weigh more than 5 ton are prohibited. Option C, all vehicles are allowed to ride at a maximum speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So this is what the right answer is. So this is a round board. We know that from the book. If you want to know about the different boards, how to identify the boards, you can refer the book. It's very well explained. So a round board with red is a prohibition. And if you talk about a round boards are very important. So they can be red boards, blue boards. Red boards are prohibition, blue boards are obligatory, which means mandatory. So this is a red board, round board. It's a prohibition. And then in the prohibition, it says 5, which means 5 kilometers per hour. So at some places, you might see 70, you might see 90. So which puts a restriction on the kilometers, 70 kilometers, 90. But here you are just allowed to ride at 5. Maybe it's a bridge, maybe it's a small road where you are not allowed to ride more than 5 kilometers. So this is the correct answer. Question 19, a very easy question. What will limit neck injury in an accident? Option A, a seat with proper springs in it. Option B is ABS. Option C is a properly adjusted headrest. So the correct answer is a good headrest, properly adjusted headrest that will limit the neck injury, the accident. Question 20, which of the following has a prohibition to entry? Okay, which of the following boards gives a prohibition to entry? So we see 3 boards here. This is a warning board. A triangle is a warning board. Now a prohibition is, we know a prohibition is a round board with a red border, right? So this is a prohibition board. Now what about the blue board? It's an obligatory board. So the book clearly explains the different types of boards: warning, priority, obligatory, prohibitory, parking, information. And then it also explains what the boards will look like. For example, if you just scroll down, so it says examples of circular prohibition boards. Then it says what the boards will be. Red boards, circular boards with red border are prohibitions, like that. Circular blue boards indicate obligation. So it's very well explained in this book. So in this case, the answer will be B, because this is a prohibition board. Question 21, you are approaching a turn, but you are riding too fast. When should you apply the brakes? Option A is before the turn. Option B is in the turn or during the turn. Option C is after the turn. So you always apply brakes before the turn, because if you apply brakes during the turn, then you might lose control. of the vehicle, and it doesn't make sense to apply brakes after the turn. After the turn, I think you should accelerate and continue with your speed. So the correct answer is A. So you should always apply brakes before the turn to keep control on the vehicle. Question 22. The moped, you can see here, he wants to cross the road. Who has priority? Option A, he has priority. Option B, you have priority. Now, the answer is you have priority. Why? Because remember we discussed a few questions back that when someone leaves their part of the road and enters others road, then they must give priority. So the moped is leaving a parking area and entering the road, so he must wait for the vehicles which are already on the road. Now the other thing is the moped is leaving a parking area which is a maneuver. And remember, we already spoke about maneuver. When someone is doing a maneuver, he or she must always give priority. So the moped must give priority in this case to you or the vehicles which are already on the road. Okay, in what order are these vehicles allowed to enter the cross point? This is a little tricky question, but then yes, it's an important question. So let's see. Now, there are some signboards and road markings, so we must pay attention to that. The first thing is one thing we can rule out: who's going last? The red car will go last. Why? Because there are sharp teeth for red cars, right? So the red car must give priority to all the other vehicles on the road. Now, so let's put the red car in the end. Now the question is, among green and white car, who will go first? Now, see that green car is, if you look at the lane, the lane is going like this. The white car, if it had to continue, it had to go straight. The green car is allowed to turn like this, go straight, or turn to its right. The green car, but then the white car, if he has to turn left, the white car has switched on its left indicator. The green car has also done that, but okay, let's try to understand. The green car has switched on its left indicator, which means it is turning left, right? So it is turning left, but it is not entering anyone else's road. It is just following its road. See, it's not crossing any lines, right? But if the white car has to turn left, it has to cross this dotted lines. It has to cross these broken white lines. That's why the white car is doing a maneuver here, but the green car is not doing any maneuver. So the green car will go first, then the white car because it is doing maneuver, and only at the end is the red car. So I hope it's clear. A little tricky question, but we have to pay attention to all the road signs and the indicators. So the first will be the green car, the second will be the white car, the last will be the red car. The question is, are you allowed to park here on the road? Option A is yes, that is allowed within a built-up area. B is yes, but that that yes, that is option B is yes, that is allowed, but only on a priority road. Option C is no. So if we look at the photo here, this is a bus stop, right? So at a bus stop, you must leave at least 15 meters before and 15 meters after. So a total of 30 meters, and only then you are allowed to park. So clearly you are not allowed to park at this point, at this place on the road. So it's well illustrated in the book. This is a bus stop. And then so this is no parking signs here. 15 meters before the bus stop and 15 meters after the bus stop. No parking is allowed. Waiting is allowed, but no parking is allowed. So the answer is no, and then we will confirm the answer. The question is, are you allowed to park before this traffic sign? Right? So 4 is before. Are you allowed to park before this traffic sign? It's also important to understand if he's saying before or after, because in this case, after this traffic sign, there is a parking prohibition, which is indicated by this arrow, which means the prohibition is starting from here. But the prohibition before this board does not apply, right? You can also see some parking boxes here. So are you allowed to park before this traffic sign? There are three options. Yes. Option B is no, but only waiting is allowed. Option C is no, but parking is allowed after this board. This is definitely wrong. The correct answer is yes, because the parking is allowed before this traffic board. Question is, you are you want to take the first exit on the motorway. You want to take the first exit. So this is indicating the exit 7. You want to take this exit. Where do you apply your brakes? Option A is before the exit lane. Option B is on the exit lane. So you must always apply brakes on the exit lane. You should not apply brakes before the exit lane because that creates a kind of panic situation for the drivers behind you. And they are riding at 120 kilometers per hour, and suddenly you apply brake on the motorway. They will think that okay, something is wrong. Panic situation. So you must not apply brakes on the motorway, but on the exit lane. The question is, after this board, then you have three options. Option A is the cars are prohibited. Option B is overtaking other cars is prohibited. Option C is overtaking a carriage or a vehicle with more than two wheels from the left is prohibited. So this is, remember this, it's a standard definition for parking prohibition, for overtaking prohibition. I'll read this again. Overtaking a carriage or a vehicle with more than two wheels from left is prohibited, right? So this is the correct answer. So it's not overtaking for cars is prohibited. Your definition is this. The question is, the visibility due to mist is limited to 50 meters. What will you do? Three options. Option A, you will do nothing special. Option B, you will slow down the vehicle in a slow way. Option C is you will slow down the vehicle as soon as possible. So you should not do this. It's you will slow down the vehicle in a easy way, not applying sudden brakes. There might be accidents. So this is the right answer. Next question. Should you wear a seat belt in an autocar? Autocar is a kind of a bus. So that's no. Seat belt is wearing is in a car, light motor vehicle, but autocar, that's not mandatory. So moot is must you wear, so it's not mandatory. No. Question 30. What is an authorized supervisor, or let's say what is a supervisor with sign C3 allowed to do? The three options is he's allowed to stop cross direction traffic. So the traffic which is crossing, he's allowed to control the traffic at traffic lights. He's allowed to slow down the traffic. So the three options, he's allowed to control the cross direction traffic, the traffic which is crossing. Second option is he is allowed to control traffic at traffic lights. And option 3 is he is allowed to slow down the traffic. So the only thing he is allowed to do is he is allowed to stop the traffic at a cross direction. At a traffic light, he's not allowed to do anything. That's the duty of the authorized person. In the book, it is very well explained the difference between a crossing guard and authorized person, what a crossing guard is allowed to do, and what an authorized person, like a police, is allowed to do. So in this case, he's allowed to stop traffic, which is coming from the opposite directions. And then in that case, when this person raises the C3 traffic sign, the traffic must stop and let the pedestrians or the cyclists cross. Okay. At traffic light, this person is not allowed to do anything for the traffic. The question is, you are moving in a traffic jam slowly. Are you allowed still to continue riding? Answer is no, because in traffic jam, you are riding usually very slow, and then you when are you? This is an orange traffic light, right? The top is always red, the bottom is always green, and the middle is the orange light. When are you allowed to cross an orange light? It's only when it is not safe to stop. But if you're already riding very slow in a traffic jam, then you must stop at the orange light. So are you allowed to continue riding? No, you're not allowed. The next question is, at this cross point, then there are three options. Option A is you have priority because you are riding on a priority road. Option B is you have priority because the road marking indicates this at the cross point. And option C is have the drivers who are coming from the right have priority, right? So this mark, a cross mark, is similar to the cross mark on the board, which means that it's a crossroad, and where there is a crossroad, you must always follow priority from right, unless the traffic sign says that, okay, you have priority at that junction. So the drivers who are coming from the right have priority. Moreover, even if you have missed this road sign, there are no traffic boards, which means that if there are no traffic boards, you will follow priority from right. So the drivers coming from right have priority. So the question is the total weight of the vehicle itself plus the load plus the driver plus the occupants or the passengers is what? One of the three. It is A, the maximum authorized weight. Option B, the own weight. Option C, the weight in loaded condition. So this is the weight in the loaded condition. The maximum authorized weight is MAW in this case, and this is 3.5 tons usually for a car. So the two terms MAW and MGW have been explained in the book. So maximum, so we talk the question was referring to this maximum gross weight. So the maximum gross weight equals the total weight of the vehicle at a given instance, right? Maximum gross weight of any vehicle is vehicle weight, load plus driver plus passengers. So that's what the question is. So let's confirm and continue. The question is, which of these photos show everything that is mandatory to keep in a car? So let's look at these photos. All the three photos have the warning triangle, which is mandatory. All the three photos have the flue vest or the reflect jacket and the extinguisher. And which one now? What is additional? First aid kit. This is some some document here, but and this is the parking card. But a first aid kit is mandatory in a car. So what is mandatory in the car is first aid kit, a warning triangle, an extinguisher, and a reflective jacket. So this is the correct answer. Again, arrange the vehicles in the order in which they are allowed to enter the junction. So clearly, like last time, in this case also the red car will be the last one. Why? Because it has shark teeth, so it has to wait, give priority to all the other cars. Now, between white and green, pay attention to the indicators. Green is turning right, white is turning to its left. So the green will be first because it's turning to its right, and white will be next because any car turning left, again the same concept, it is leaving its area, entering someone else's area, so it is doing a maneuver, and in that case it must give priority. So any car turning left must give priority to the car coming from the opposite direction. So green goes first, white goes next, and the last is red. The next question, what is the meaning of these boards? Option A, from here is the maximum speed limited to 70 kilometers per hour till a distance of 200 meters. Option B, 200 meters further is the maximum speed limited to 70 kilometers per hour. Option C, from here is the maximum speed limited to 70 kilometers per hour for vehicles longer than 200 meters. So this is absolutely wrong. And this is the correct one because when you see this 70 kilometers per hour, okay, it's good. But then you should also look at the blue board or the underplates which provide more details on the above existing board. So this says 200 meters, which means that it this one does not apply, this board does not apply here, but it applies at 200 meters. So 200 meters further is the maximum speed limited to 70 kilometers per hour. That's the correct answer. The question is this blue car allowed to park in this? Is this blue car allowed to park here in this one-way street? The answer is yes. In a one-way street, you can park your car on the left as well as on the right. Usually you park your car on the right side of the road, but in a one-way street, you are allowed to park on the right as well as on the left. So it is allowed to park here. And there is a parking and waiting restriction, but that is only till here. The bottom arrow indicates the restriction ends here. And beyond this board, you are allowed to wait or park. So that's no problem. The question is, are you allowed to turn right? No. This board is again a prohibition. Red board, round board is prohibition, and turning right is not allowed. It has crossed that out. And if you pay very close attention, there is an no entry board here as well, right? So any traffic cannot enter this road. Usually this board is followed with this no entry board. So you're not allowed to turn right here. The question is the warning boards. So these are warning boards, triangles, these are warning boards. You can refer to the book to understand how the warning boards, how you can identify different types of boards. So the warning boards, there are two warning boards. They stand, they are placed always. Option A, at the place where the warning is, at the place where there is danger. Option B is 50 meters before the danger. Option C is 150 meters before the danger. So it's always placed 150 meters before the danger. So why? Because then you should become aware that there is a situation ahead, a warning situation, so you can adapt your speed accordingly. So these warning boards are usually placed 150 meters before the actual place of danger. So you can see the traffic lights here. It's 150 meters. Are those traffic lights? The question is, are the mist lights now switched on? No. This gives that these are high beam lights. Remember we answered a question before, low beam light, and this one is the high beam light. Straight lines are high beam lights with blue, and the slanted lines with green icon are low beam lights. So you cannot have both the LEDs running high beam and low beam. It will either be high beam or low beam. And in this case, it's a high beam light. These are not mist lights. Let's confirm the answer. The next question is, how high is a vehicle allowed to be loaded? The answer should be 4 meters because the any vehicle is allowed to be at a maximum of 4 meters. Okay, the question is, where will you put your left leg after applying your brakes? So you have changed the brakes. Now you're driving the car. Where will you keep the left foot? A is this position, B is this position, and C is on the left to the clutch. So A is at the top of the clutch, below the clutch, and left of clutch. So it's left of the clutch that you have to put your left foot on. So this is accelerator, this is brake, and this is clutch. So A is wrong because then you are simply putting unnecessary uh, pressure on your leg by keeping it like this. This is a dangerous situation. You don't put it behind, and this is the way how you should put your left foot. The next question is, after this dynamic traffic boards, there are 3 options. Option A is you are allowed to ride at a maximum of 70 kilometers per hour. Option B is you are advised to ride at a maximum of 70 kilometers per hour. Option C is you must ride at least 70 kilometers per hour. So this is wrong. This is also wrong. This is the right answer. So you are allowed to ride a maximum of 70 kilometers per hour, but you can also ride at 60 or 65. That's not an offense. But the other 2 options, advised, no, it's not advised. These boards are putting limitations, prohibitions on the speed. So this is a 5-mark question. Speed questions are 5-mark questions. So if you answer these questions wrong, you will lose 5 marks. And you must ride minimum of 70 kilometers per hour. No, this is what it is. These boards don't tell you that you must ride at minimum 70 kilometers. The next question, what is the basic traffic rule at a 4-arm junction without traffic signs? So the simple question is, what is the basic traffic rule at a traffic junction without traffic signs? Option A is priority from right. Option B is give priority to everyone. Option C is priority from left. So the simple answer and the correct answer is priority from right, or it is also called as right of way. So any vehicle coming from the right will get priority. Okay, the question is, what will you do if the breath analyzer indicates that you have consumed a lot of alcohol? So what will you do if the breath analyzer indicates that you have consumed a lot of alcohol to drive? Option A is, I will eat something fatty, so I should be okay to drive. Option B is, I will drink a lot of coffee, so I'll be okay to drive. Option C, I don't drive the car myself, but I will seek an alternative way to reach my destination. So in this situation, you don't drink or eat anything to become okay to drive. You should always look for alternatives, maybe take a taxi or ask a friend to drive you back to your destination. The question is, are you allowed with your car to turn right here? Option A is yes, always. Option B is yes. If I don't drive more than 5 kilometers per hour, no. Option C is no. The correct answer is yes, always, because it says no right turn, but then you should also pay attention to the plate, the blue plate, which explains more about this traffic sign. And this blue plate says that this prohibition applies to vehicles which are more than 5 tons. So a car is not more than 3.5 tons, so it is allowed to turn right here. Okay, here's the question which is testing the understanding about a junction. So what is a junction or an intersection or a crossroad? Three options. Option A, it's a place where two roads cross. Option B, it's a place where two or more roads come together. Option C is it's a place where signs regulate the traffic. So the correct answer is this one. It's a junction is a place where multiple roads come together. Okay, it's not a place where the signs regulate the traffic or gives the priority rules. It's, even without signs or without signs, junctions will exist. The question is, are you allowed to overtake the car in front of you? Simple answer is no. Why? Because this is a continuous orange line. When there are orange and white lines, you can ignore the white lines, right? So now what applies is only the orange lines, and you don't cross a continuous white or orange line. In this case, an orange line. So you have to continue driving behind this car, and no one is allowed here to change any lanes. So you're not allowed to overtake the car. The question is, on the motorway, the maximum speed limit is 120 kilometers per hour. Does this apply to everyone? Option A is yes. Option B is not for vehicles and trailers with an maximum allowed mass of 3.5 tons. Not with vehicles and trailers with a maximum allowed mass of more than 7.5 tons. So the three options are, first option is yes, everyone is allowed to ride at 120 kilometers per hour. The second one says not for the vehicles with maximum allowed mass of more than 3.5 tons. These are vehicles like trucks, and this is also vehicles like trucks, but really heavy vehicles. So I think this is the correct answer, or it could be this as well, but we will find out. So I'll just select not for vehicles with more than 3.5 tons. The question is this car allowed here to park on the left? The answer is yes. Why? Because this is as indicated by this road sign. This is a one-way street, and we just discussed in a one-way street, you're allowed to park on the right as well as on the left. So the parking is here allowed for this car. Also, this road is not divided into lanes. If it was divided into lanes, then the parking would have been prohibited. Also, there are no signs indicating parking prohibition. So this car can safely park here. Okay, so we have finished 50 questions, and let's hope we have passed the exam. If not, we will see. Okay, so we have passed the exam, but we have made some mistakes. Let's look at the score. We have scored 47. Oh, not bad. So let's look at the mistakes we did. Okay, at this board, it says you must always stop. So when you see this toll board, it is prohibited to write further without stopping. So sometimes they can also write tax in place of toll. Okay, I had doubts about this question, but okay, when you see this board, you don't, on a Sunday, you don't put any parking card. Parking card are only mandatory on work days, also Saturdays from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. That applies for all the parking cards. So in an auto car, also you must wear seat belts. It says all people who are sitting should sit in a correct way with seat belts in the vehicle, and must sit only in places where it is safe and reserved for sitting. There are some exceptions who are accepted from wearing a seat belt. A driver who is reversing, he is accepted from wearing seat belt. A taxi driver who is driving a client, a postal service who's delivering post, an authorized person if he is carrying out something, some service, and everyone for medical reasons, but they have to get an attest from the responsible minister. But then pregnant women must wear seat belts. It says Kane Zwarabrawan, which means this is not an exception to pregnant women. So pregnant women must wear seat belts. Okay, so that was it for today. So just to remind you, if you want to buy this book on Amazon, I'll put the link in the description again. And if you want, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll keep posting such videos very often. So subscribe to this so that you can get an alert. All right, till we see again each other. Have a nice time. Bye.